Let's talk about something that doesn't always get fans hyped like a 60-yard bomb from Mahomes or a clutch sack from Chris Jones, but it absolutely should, and that's money. Yeah, contracts, cap space, dead money. Because right now, the Kansas City Chiefs are showing the rest of the NFL how it's done. While other teams across the league are burning through millions with little to show for it, the Chiefs are quietly winning the financial game. As of now, they've only got $13.3 million in dead cap on the books for 2025. That's the fourth lowest number in the entire AFC. Let that sink in. You see, dead cap money is like paying rent on a house you don't even live in anymore. It's money tied up in players who aren't even on your roster. And when you look at how low that number is for Kansas City, it tells you something loud and clear. This front office knows how to manage a budget. This isn't just about being frugal. It's about being smart. Brett Veach and his team have been making calculated moves year after year, balancing short-term success with long-term stability. They've kept the team competitive without mortgaging the future. And that's no easy feat in a league that's constantly throwing money at quick fixes. When you compare that to some of the Chiefs' AFC rivals, the difference is night and day. But we'll get into that more in the next chapter. For now, just take a second to appreciate how rare this kind of consistency is. While other franchises are digging out of financial holes, Kansas City is sitting in a position of strength. And in a league with a hard salary cap, that can be the edge that separates a playoff team from a dynasty. And hey, if you respect the way the Chiefs are building this thing the right way, do me a favor. Hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. We're pushing hard to reach 4,000 subscribers, and every click helps keep Chiefs Kingdom growing strong. Quick question for you before we move on. Which contract do you think was the most, brilliant move by the Chiefs front office in recent years? Drop your thoughts in the comments. I'll be reading them. Let's keep it rolling. Now that we've seen how the Chiefs are absolutely crushing it with their financial strategy, let's take a quick drive around the neighborhood, the AFC West. And let me tell you, the view ain't so pretty if you're a fan of any other team in this division. Let's start with the Las Vegas Raiders. These guys are leading the way in all the wrong ways. They've got $44.3 million in dead cap money sitting on their books for 2025. That's more than 3 times what the Chiefs are dealing with. You know what that means? That's $44 million they can't use to improve the team. That's money going to players who aren't even on the field. Next up, the Denver Broncos. They're not doing much better. They're looking at $33.5 million in dead cap. A big chunk of that is still tied to the Russell Wilson fiasco. Remember how Denver thought they were getting their franchise QB? Yeah, that contract turned into a cautionary tale real quick. And then there's the Los Angeles Chargers, sitting at $24.5 million in dead cap. They've made some aggressive moves in recent years, and now they're paying the price for it. Let's be honest, they've been trying to keep up with the Chiefs for years, but financially, they're tripping over themselves. Meanwhile, Kansas City is keeping things tight, efficient, and effective. What's wild is that these aren't just bottom-tier teams. These are division rivals that are supposed to be in the Chiefs' rearview mirror, or at least trying to be. But how can you build a contender when tens of millions are going to players no longer on your team? And look, this isn't just about poking fun at our rivals. Okay, maybe just a little. But it's also about showing just how different the Chiefs are operating. Brett Veach has the team on a totally different level of cap management, and it's showing year after year. If you're enjoying this breakdown, make sure to hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you don't miss our next video. We're on the road to 4,000 subscribers, and your support means everything to the channel. Here's a fun one for the comments. Which AFC West team do you think has messed up their finances the worst? Raiders, Broncos, or Chargers? Drop your answer below. I'm curious to see where Chiefs Kingdom stands on this one. Let's move forward and zoom out a bit to the bigger picture across the entire AFC. All right, let's take a step beyond the AFC West and look at what's happening across the conference. Because it's not just the Chiefs' rivals who are struggling with financial regret. It's a trend that's hitting a lot of teams who've gone all in with massive contracts. And the results? Let's just say, not everyone is walking away a winner. Let's talk about the Denver Broncos again for a second, because honestly, it's hard not to. The Russell Wilson deal is one of the most expensive cautionary tales in recent NFL history. Denver gave Wilson a 5-year, $242 million extension before he even played a snap for them. And we all know how that turned out. Now they're eating a historic amount of dead cap just to move on. That's not just a bad deal. That's a franchise-altering mistake. But Denver isn't alone. Look at Cleveland and their fully guaranteed $230 million deal with Deshaun Watson. They took a massive gamble, and so far, it's barely moved the needle. Watson hasn't delivered anywhere close to what that contract demands, and the Browns are handcuffed financially. That kind of guaranteed money sets your team up for years of pressure. And if the performance doesn't match, you're stuck. These kinds of contracts are high risk, and the return just hasn't been there for many teams. It's easy to get caught up in the moment when a big-name player hits the market or when you feel like you need to lock down a franchise savior. But the cold truth? Most of these huge deals don't pay off. They create more problems than solutions. And this is exactly why what the Chiefs are doing is so impressive. They've locked up their key stars, Mahomes, Kelce, Chris Jones, but they've done it with long-term vision. Mahomes' deal, for example, looks better and better with each passing year. It's flexible, it's team-friendly, and it gives the Chiefs room to maneuver. That's the difference between a flash-in-the-pan contender and a long-term dynasty. If you're loving this kind of breakdown, go ahead and like the video and subscribe to the channel. We're closing in on 4,000 subscribers, and your support means everything. Let me ask you this. Do you think those massive contracts are ever really worth it? Yes or no? Let's get a quick vote in the comments. I want to hear your take. Next, let's zero in on the Chiefs' smart signings and how they're setting the table for future success. So now that we've covered the league's biggest mistakes, let's flip the script and shine a light on how the Kansas City Chiefs are absolutely nailing their key signings. Because if you want to build a dynasty, and let's be real, that's exactly what this team is doing, you need more than just talent. You need value, and nobody's getting more bang for their buck right now than Kansas City. Let's start with the obvious. Patrick Mahomes. The Chiefs locked him into a 10-year, $450 million deal back in 2020. At the time, it felt massive, and it was. But fast forward to 2025, and that contract is starting to look like a bargain. Why? Because the quarterback market exploded. Now QBs like Joe Burrow and Justin Herbert are pulling in even bigger annual salaries, and Mahomes' deal gives the team room to work with, especially with its built-in flexibility and restructures. Then there's Travis Kelce. The greatest tight end of all time, and I'll say that again for the people in the back, is playing on a contract that's well below his actual market value. He's not just producing like a superstar. He's doing it without draining the cap. Kelce has repeatedly said he's not chasing the money, and that team-first attitude is part of why this whole machine keeps running so smoothly. And don't sleep on Chris Jones either. After some back and forth, the Chiefs got him back on a deal that works for both sides. He's a game wrecker, no question. But the way that deal is structured, front-loaded and manageable long-term, it keeps the Chiefs competitive now and gives them options down the line. This kind of smart roster construction doesn't happen by accident. It takes planning, vision, and a front office that actually knows what it's doing. And that's exactly what Brett Veach and his team have delivered. If you're impressed with the way the Chiefs have locked down their stars, do me a favor. Subscribe if you haven't already and smash that like button to help us hit that 4,000 subscriber goal. Every click helps spread the word across Chiefs Kingdom. And I want to hear from you, which Chiefs contract do you think has been the biggest steal? Mahomes, Kelce, maybe someone else? Let me know in the comments. I'm reading everyone. Let's wrap this up with what it all means for the future. So we've talked about the money. We've looked at the mistakes other teams are making. We've broken down the genius behind locking in stars like Mahomes, Kelsey, and Chris Jones. Now it's time to ask the big question. What does all this mean for the future of the Kansas City Chiefs? It means the window isn't just open, it's wide open, and it's staying that way for a long time. In a league where most teams have to choose between winning now or building for later, the Chiefs are doing both. They're not mortgaging the future to stay competitive in the present. They're building something sustainable, something repeatable, something dynastic. Thanks to smart cap management, low dead money, and value-packed contracts, the Chiefs can continue to reload, not rebuild. That's a big reason why they've stayed on top while other contenders fade. Think about it. We're talking back-to-back Super Bowl wins, and yet they still have room to improve, cap space to work with, and flexibility to adapt. And when you pair that with a front office that hits more than it misses in the draft, the picture becomes crystal clear. This team isn't going anywhere. Brett Veach, Andy Reid, and Patrick Mahomes are building something that could dominate for a decade. That's not an exaggeration. That's the reality. Meanwhile, their AFC rivals are scrambling, overpaying, rebuilding, restructuring. The Chiefs? They're focused, calculated, always 3 steps ahead. That's why every fan in Chiefs Kingdom should feel confident, not just about this season, but about the seasons after that. The foundation is rock solid, and the front office has proven time and again that they know how to handle business. Before we close it out, I've got a challenge for you. Drop a yes in the comments if you believe the Chiefs are building a dynasty, and tell me how many more Super Bowls you think Mahomes will bring home to KC. And hey, if you've enjoyed this video, do your part. Like the video, subscribe to the channel, and hit that notification bell so you don't miss a beat as we charge toward 4,000 subscribers. This community is growing fast, and you're a part of it. Thanks for hanging out with me. Stay proud, stay loud, and stay loyal, because the Chiefs aren't done making history. See you in the next one.